Hi again, Henry Hong here. Today we're going to talk a little bit about sparkling wine, specifically how to properly open a bottle of sparkling. What I have here is something called a Cremant de Loire. Not really a champagne, but made in the same way. So traditional champagne is actually a result of double fermentation. So you start with still wine, and then you put a second dose of yeast in the bottle, seal the bottle, and then the yeast starts fermenting in the bottle, producing carbon dioxide and alcohol. And that carbon dioxide is trapped in the bottle, eventually dissolves into the liquid, and that's how you get sparkling wine. So in a naturally double fermented bottle like this, the pressure in here can be up to 90 psi. So if you compare that to like a beer bottle, with a standard beer bottle cap can handle about 45 psi. And then you think about your car tires, usually around 35 psi. So there's a lot of pressure built up here. So the traditional opening method takes into consideration lots of safety protocols. So one thing to keep in mind is to leave the foil and the cage, which we can all know by even feeling and seeing the indentations here, that's under the foil, we leave that intact. So what we do first, we take our wine opener and the blade, and all we're gonna do now, most bottles of sparkling will have some sort of perforation or tab, but just to make sure we get a clean separation, we're gonna cut around, visually inspect that it's cut, and then supporting the bottle with one hand, we take our serviette, our wine serving towel, and at all times we keep the cork covered with something, whether it's your finger or a towel or something, that's just to double ensure that it doesn't fly off anywhere. And then we take our other free hand while this is covered with our towel, and all cages have this little round tab. That's what it looks like, as we all know. Standard is 6 twists, so you don't even have to look at it. So in traditional presentation, now this thing is on the wrong side for some reason. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now even at this stage, we're keeping the napkin on top, never pointing it towards another person or a lamp or glass or anything of that nature. This is putting straight up into the wooden case ceiling up there. And then what we do is we hold on to the top with one hand, support the bottom with the other hand, slowly twist back and forth. You want to come in close, chef? And the goal of opening a bottle of sparkling is to have as little sound as possible. So that's actually more sound than I'd like. Any sound that you hear is the sound of energy escaping, and that's carbon dioxide escaping, and that's effervescence escaping. So the less sound you hear, the more gas is remaining inside the wine, and the more sparkling, the more effervescent will be in your glass. So you might be wondering why we're outside. There's a reason for that, because this is not the only way to open a bottle of sparkling wine, and Chef and I are going to demonstrate sort of a little bit more fun way to open it. We picked a safer location because what we're going to be doing is sabering these bottles of sparkling wine open. So if you've never heard of sabering, it's opening a bottle of sparkling wine with a sword or other implement. I've even seen it done with butter knives. You can do it even with a champagne flute if you're especially skilled. And you can see that these two bottles are in here upside down. And the reason why we're chilling them this way is because in order to saber a bottle of wine easily, the neck has to be very, very cold. The glass has to be very cold. And I'll take this bottle out, and as you can see, I've taken the foil off. And then in order to saber, well, first let's get our weapon of choice here. It's just a replica Civil War saber. In preparation, what we'll do is we'll take the cage off, and just out of an abundance of precaution, we'll put our thumb on top. Remember, we said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to open it up. Very carefully take the cage off. Neck feels nice and cold. And then what we want to do is, always keeping it pointed in a safe location. Right now we have it going straight towards a brick wall. And the idea here is to catch the edge of whatever you're using onto that main lip below the cork. And it doesn't have to be forceful, it doesn't have to be, it's not a cutting motion, it's more of a sliding motion, kind of gliding across the top of the bottle, and then catching that lip and sort of encouraging it off forward. All right, so Chef Victor has never sabered a bottle of wine before. Let's not shake it up too much. And then again, what we're doing is simply not a whole lot of power necessarily, but just a nice move with conviction, a firm, steady stroke to catch that lip, and then just propel it forward whenever you're ready. So make sure you're in contact with the bottle. Yeah. Yeah! Excellent. So instead of cutting down, you kind of go across the...
Gotcha.
Well done, sir.
Thank you.
What you can see though is, so even though that's a very sharp edge, the idea is that the wine coming out after you saber it actually pushes out into little particles. And believe me, I've had my share of wine from saber bottles, and I've yet to have any shards of glass interrupt my good time. So well done, chef.
Thank you.